Does Steve Kerr need a ambulance?
Wah, 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 wah.
Steve Kerr, he needs this hat right here. He needs it desperately. If you didn't hear, I'm just gonna start off with the quote. I'm gonna start off in the quote, and then we'll get into it. Steve Kerr, head coach of the Golden State Warriors, said this: "When you sign on that dotted line, you owe your effort and your play to that team, to that city, to the fans. The Davis stuff was really kind of groundbreaking, and hopefully not a trend because it's bad for the league." Steve Kerr, yeah, he's the guy that's going to determine what's bad for the league now. Yeah, it's not he's never had talent on his team. He's actually had to coach all of these years. Yeah, just nothing. He's had nothing wrong with his coaching career. Absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely wrong. He's had front office did great drafting these players, but in his coaching career, he has had Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, all these guys that were on a 73-9 team. And then they added Kevin Durant. And then they added DeMarcus Cousins. That's not bad for the league? Please tell me that's not bad for the league, Steve Kerr. Please. Please explain to me. I don't usually defend the Lakers like this or anything. But man, Steve Kerr, out of all the people to say it, you are probably one of the last people that can say that. All right, now my thoughts on it are, look, players sometimes aren't happy and they want to leave. They want to get out of it. It's like a job. All right, this is their job. And if you don't like the business you work for, you want to get out of there. You're not going to torture yourself in there, right? You're going to quit your job or you're going to ask to be moved in this case. So they're asking for a move. And they get moved because, it's basically saying it's actually helpful for these organizations because, or at least the team that the player leaves, because Davis said, I want out. And let's say they wait till he's a free agent. If he leaves, New Orleans gets nothing in return. So that's good for the team, obviously, that the player is leaving because you do a trade instead of just losing him straight up. So obviously contracts are contracts and breaking contracts is not fun, but a trade is somewhat reasonable, I have to say. But the players have a lot of power in these situations, which I'm fine with, but that has been a big trend recently. Paul George in Indiana, Paul George now in Oklahoma City, after he said he was going to stay in Oklahoma City. Who else has done it? Anthony Davis, obviously. Kyrie Irving, he did it in Cleveland. He got traded to Boston. I'm trying to think of other superstars who have done it. I'm definitely missing. I know. Oh, no, DeMarcus Cousins didn't want out of Sacramento, I don't think. Chris Paul out of the Clippers. Chris Paul, Houston, maybe. We don't know the full story there. Russell Westbrook out of Oklahoma City, technically. That's all I can think of at the moment. Jimmy Butler. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Butler out of Minnesota and Chicago. So those are just a few examples of guys who have wanted out. So obviously the team does get something in return, and it balances it out. So this player wants to get traded. So Anthony Davis wants to get traded. Let's say that he waits till free agency to leave. He leaves New Orleans all by himself. New Orleans is left with nothing. They're pretty trashy after that. They just got Drew Holiday and eventually Zion Williamson. And that's about it. They don't have much other than that. But with this trade, they get Lonzo Ball, they get Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram, 3 young guys, and they also get some draft picks, which turns into Jackson Hayes and something else, I believe. So they end up getting something out of it. They end up getting a good chunk out of it, actually. Some pretty solid players and some good draft picks. So it ends up benefiting the team and the player. They both leave happy because Davis wanted out of New Orleans, so he's happy that he's out of New Orleans. And the Pelicans are happy that they didn't just lose Davis and get nothing in return. They got a good chunk in return. So, is it bad for the league? You could argue that for sure, but I think it's also good for the league because it balances out any one team and one team, you know. So I think it definitely helps that when players get traded, the other team has a chance to be somewhat decent still with what they get in return. Oklahoma City, as you've seen, they have turned 2 all-star players into a buttload of draft picks, Chris Paul and a young player who is likely to be the face of the franchise. So you can definitely get a lot out of all-stars, getting it out of players wanting to be traded or whatnot. So I personally don't think it's bad for the league. And Steve Kerr, I can't even. I had a long rant. I'm going to hold back a little bit, but you're not allowed to say this, Steve. Steve, you've had a 73-9 team. You have had Kevin Durant on that 73-9 team added, and DeMarcus Cousins, and you're complaining. It's probably because you have to coach for the first time ever. Like, ever since he got this team, championship, blown 3-1 lead, championship, lost in the finals. With Clay, Curry, Draymond, then a couple years later, Durant, then after that, Cousins. So Steve Kerr really, don't get me wrong, I respect him as a coach. I think he's a solid coach, but this is a big year for him as a coach to prove himself because he is going to have to coach a little bit more than he has in the past. He can't just say, Curry, go shoot threes. You're fine. We'll win by 30. He can't really do that because this first half of the year at least, it's only Curry and D'Angelo Russell. They don't have Clay. Clay's out. Durant's out. By out, I mean he's not on the team and he's out because of injury. But Steve Kerr is going to have to up his coaching a little bit. So, and another thing. You're going to be like, oh, Steve Kerr coached them through that 73-9 year. Well, he was actually gone, I think, 21 games, and Luke Walton went 20-1. Luke Walton. Remember he became the Lakers coach, and he didn't do too hot on the Lakers. So you tell me right there. That's just something I'm pointing out right there. But Steve Kerr, why? Just why? But here's the rest of the league's reaction to Steve Kerr.
Just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. Woo!
So, yeah, there it is. Obviously, that happened yesterday. That's a meme now. Steve Ballmer is a meme. He is my favorite Steve right now. I'm still a little bit upset with Paul George, but, it's fine. Everything's fine. At least we got something in return. Oklahoma City got something in return. Future NBA videos. I'll do a Dynamics duo, the best duos in the NBA, season preview, power rankings, all that stuff. I plan to do a video once I get my Kevin Durant jersey. I've tracked my order. It's still pending. They said 4 to 6 weeks. It's been about 2.5 weeks since I've ordered it. So we'll figure out. I'll give announcements, but we'll figure that out. As for other videos, I'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, leave it a big fat like. If you'd like to subscribe, you should definitely subscribe by clicking on my face. Thanks for watching.